Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Hey, it's They Made What Into a TV series, Castlevania Nocturne, a review of episode number 5 from season 2, Into the Abyss, written by Clive Bradley, directed by Sam Dietz and Adam Dietz. Listen, how do you follow up episode number 4? How do you follow it? Honestly, that was such a wild ride. They could do nothing here to really upset me, bother me, ruin the show as it were. Episode 4 was simply one of the greatest things I've seen in this show to date. So, you know, any drop in quality would be fine.
Yeah. I agree.
But this is Nocturne. There are no drops in quality. If that's the truth of the matter, really, isn't it? You know, they've hit such a high.
Yeah, indeed.
And as always, we begin in the past. It's 1789 CE. And in an ancient Egypt temple, we see Elizabeth bonding with Sekhmet's blood. We then cut to the modern-day Drolta carrying her mummy and looking at the setting sun. Things do not look good. And in Paris, dragging his ass out of the water, Alucard is pissed. I love it when you get that angry Alucard and he bares his teeth. Because he's so pissed, he blames Richter. Blames Richter for, this. Your carelessness cost us this fight and the mummy, Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in two ways. I saw the fact that he's angry that obviously at Richter, but he's also angry at himself the fact that he got lazy and he didn't. He got arrogant and thought he's gonna kill easy and win this fight easy.
Yeah, he kind of approaches most vampires now with a level of arrogance. That's fine, he's earned that. But Drolta, this version of Drolta, the night creature Drolta, is more than a match for him. After, Annette sticks up for Richter, Alucard's like, he does his grunts, and goes alone to the National Convention to warn them, look, listen, shit's coming to Paris. Elizabeth is going to invade, and that's going to be a problem. But he instructs Richter and Annette, look, we're going to create a defense, but what we don't need is vampires within that defense area. So go seek out some nests and kill those vampires. Simple as that. He does do that whole "I'm daddy" here, where he's like, Richter asks him, he's like, "Do I have to repeat myself? Do I have to repeat myself, boy?"
I like the fact that obviously with Trevor and oh my god, I forgot. So yeah, Trevor and Cypher, they're a bit more older, so they're a bit more wiser. So now he's dealing with children, basically teenagers.
He treats Richter like he's a child. He does. As Richter and Annette walk, they talk about her visions, and Richter reflects on the Belmont legacy, getting emotional over what he sees as his mother's wasted death. He kind of is not rejecting the Belmont name, but he's basically querying whether Belmonts really have a place in the world anymore. Annette comforts him by reminding him that her mother also died protecting her, and she doesn't blame herself. Kind of saying that we are the same. We both lost our mother who's trying to protect us, but whereas Richter blames himself, Annette doesn't. Before they can go any further, though, vampires, they're hunting, so they give chase. Cut to a scene. Oh, this next scene. Honestly, I got chills. On the rewatch, I'm like, oh my god, this is such a great scene. Because inside the Abbey, Olrox surveys the damage and finds the Forge Master book. He takes it down to the infernal machine where he's visited by the shadows. The thing, what it is, the whatever that is. And Ulrich speaks to it, claims, I know who you are, calling it by several different names. Old Man Coyote, Mephistopheles, or as he puts it, whatever name it goes under. He claims to know what it offers, but refuses to accept what it offers, and choosing to send the book back through the machine to hell, obviously. So that's the end of that book, and love this scene because it's that unknown again. Now, I did some digging after this. I was like, right, let me Google Old Man Coyote and follow this trend specifically, and it is a name. It's a name given amongst many others to. It's a being, a trickster god, a Loki almost to a certain degree. It can be anything. It's not specific. Some of it dates back to native Indian stuff, which would make sense why Ulrox's history and where he comes from in the Americas. Like, he would have his own version of this. Basically, all cultures have a version of this thing.
Yep.
That's Exciting and terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I thought obviously as we've discussed it before. Obviously, I thought it's going to be the devil. The fact that it's got no name, it's nameless.
It's just a form of that. It is just a form of that. Now, I
Mm.
do queer it and wonder if it's like if we could separate the two, because well, let's be honest, once you go devil, you kind of there's no going back, is there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, remember how they got around the whole death thing was death was more of an entity that goes by that name. I think they could do a similar thing here. But that's for the future, because right now Maria has made a dark portal and is staring into it. Juice tries to reason with her, but here is Terra. Terra's been a right little to
Mm.
remind Maria that she's enjoying the darkness. Juice tries to speak to her of living and why the darkness should never win, but Maria offers her neck to her mother, asking her to bite her. Basically, I can become like you and be with you. Terra is shocked, but temptation, that's a pretty looking neck. Some nice
Mm.
blood pumping through those big old veins in your neck. And Juice is like, boom, if you go near her, this is going to be a fight. Seeing this, Maria summons a huge monster to deal with him, but Terra comes to her senses here and demands she stops.
Mm.
This leads to a very emotional scene where she realizes her presence is actually corrupting Maria, and Terra runs off, leaving a tearful Maria, claiming, "Look, you've got to find yourself, but so do I," and asks Juice to take care of her. Maria tries to chase her, begging her mother not to leave, but it's simply too late, and she's gone. I'm really torn on this scene. I love it. It's a very emotional scene. I think the
Yeah.
voice acting for Maria is staggering. The animation's brilliant, but and Terra coming to her senses briefly, I can understand. However, something didn't sit right with me. Now, this could just be an error. But I almost want to believe that Terra did it on purpose because she wanted Maria to feel like she could reach her mother, but was
Yeah.
always out of grasp. Why did Terra run away like a human? Like she could have zipped. We've seen her do it like a vampire. She could have been gone like that. Instead, she kind of jogs away like that. I was a bit like, is it just an error in the filmmaking? Or is it like, no, this is the human side of Terra, so she doesn't like take upon her vampire side of things. I'm torn in this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible, but it's also could be a big form of manipulation.
Yes,
She's being very manipulated. Yeah.
I did wonder if it's manipulation, but I'm more leaning towards it's Terra momentarily regaining her human senses, her love for her daughter, and
Mm.
almost forgetting that she's a vampire. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the voice of an angel, Edward, starts to singing to the night creatures, the ones that will listen to him, except for that multi-armed prick. He really does not like
Um,
it.
I can't stand that guy.
He'll get his eventually.
Oh, wait.
And it appears they're grieving for the abbot because Elizabeth is watching from above and she's kind of just tired. She's kind of like, what do I care? She's bored. She's
Mm.
bored. She wants to be worshipped and she feels, she puts it, she's tired of hiding away in this chateau. Elsewhere, Richter and Nat are vampire hunting and end up at an entrance to some catacombs. Of course, this being Paris and France, it has catacombs. And inside they fight. The fight resumes as the vampires try to get a jump on them, but obviously all we get is a load of dead vampires. Maria tells Juice she wants to fight in the war. She's kind of like, look, there's a battle going on elsewhere. We're not just going to stay here. Juice is on the fence about this. He's still worried about it. He's trying to he's basically talking her. I see Maria as being on the brink of a cliff, and Juice is standing back and he's trying to talk her back off the edge, but he's got
Yeah.
to approach it very carefully. We then cut to Mizrak praying as Ulrux comes to him and tells him, look, I'm going home. And obviously Mizrak's like, don't run away. And Ulrux is, and like, oh, it says, look, she's going to see it as betrayal. She's going to come after me. But the America, New World, remember, the New World he refers to as America.
Hmm.
It's the New World. It's big. It's vast. He can disappear within it. And while Mizrak tries to persuade Ulrux to fight, he refuses, telling a story, a part of his past about other invaders, and through that revealing how he became a vampire. He has experienced invasions, he's experienced invaders, he's experienced his world being taken by others. I know we say this all the time, but honestly, what a character, right?
Yeah, he's arguably one of my favorite in the entire show. You know, either him or obviously I like Edward too because I love the singing, but it's just like he's so there's so much they can do with his character.
I am going to not agree with you with the overall because there's too many good characters, but I'm gonna narrow it down from the vampire side of things. He might be the most intriguing, exciting one that I almost think build a separate series around his life.
Mm,
Or if in the future we want to jump between time periods, let us know more about him.
yeah.
We will not by the end get the answers like what happened that meant he felt he had to kill. Now we know Olrox loves deeply, and he makes mistakes because of that. But he killed a Belmont for love. That's
Mm.
got to be worth exploring, right?
Well, yeah, there's a story there. So obviously with Victor's mum killing his partner. So
Yeah, yeah, that passed. Yeah. Anyway, he does leave, and at the National Convention, Alucard interrupts some vampires who are about to attack the guards outside. This is where we kind of get that Alucard arrogance. There was once a time when my arrival in Paris would be greeted by basically he mocks, he insults Elizabeth, which is enough then to get these vampires' attention because they were like, "Hey, don't talk shit about my queen," and they're dead, of course. Alucard goes inside. And I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy speaking here is actually a real character, a historical French revolutionary who was a major part of the uprising in the French Revolution. I can't remember his name.
mm,
Alucard reveals to them the impending invasion, and to prove it, chucks them a vampire's head as proof. Because he's still Alucard, like he's still like that nasty side of thing. But he does
mm.
offer to help them prepare for the fight. So, I've written some lines. Sometimes just really good dialogue. Why do you sing? Because then I'm free, and so is everyone who listens. These are the words Edward shares with the captain. I'm going to call her the sexy captain because in the previous episode we critiqued and criticized the way she's dressed or the way she was turned into a night creature. So yeah,
Yeah.
the sexy French captain. And Edward says we should all sit because she's kind of like, well, we're not free. Do you know what I mean? And all that. Like, one day they're going to cut your tongue out for doing it. And he says, well, we should all sing together then and maybe cut off their heads. You're like, oh, you little
Mm.
bitch. Look at what you're doing,
Yeah.
creating your own little revolution.
Yeah.
Elizabeth goes to town and speaks to the people, promising to destroy all enemies provided everyone worships her. In a wonderful moment of timing, Doltra now appears, bringing the mummy to Elizabeth. And seeing this and how the mummy reacts to her, people fall to their knees. It doesn't take much, does it, for humanity to bend the knee, does it? We collapse so quickly.
Power. As soon as you see a bit of power, everyone bows to it. Yeah.
It's anyone that promises you, it's anyone that promises you that, hey, it'll all be okay provided you follow me. We have
Hmm.
real life parallels here.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Richter and Annette have continued to explore the catacombs and talk about Annette's visions. Through this, they realize they're more connected than they think, and Richter wonders if there's no place for Belmonts anymore. Here, their affection goes a bit further. It's almost a kiss. But Annette realizes through their talk what her ancestors may have been trying to tell her. Sekhmet has a third soul. A third soul. And it might exist in the spirit world. She's just going to have to go into it to find it. And this is how we set up the latter part of the series. It's a great episode. It slows things down after the energy of the last, but continues every character in interesting ways and sets up where we're going with it. I think as a sort of like the penultimate side of the series, the season, it's fabulous. I thoroughly enjoyed it again.
Yeah, so it's building up again, sort of like what the original Castlevania did. It's building on like different side stories. You got Edward's sort of revolution, the French Revolution, and yeah, it's building up to something big. You can feel it.
It's good. This is baby steps for the characters into our final forms of what we're going to do. You can feel it. I think that's the right words there. And we needed to kind of take a step back and a breather and have a more talky episode. There's not much in the way of action. You get a little bit of Richter and Annette fight in the catacombs, but that's fairly standard stuff. Shot a bit differently because it's in a darker kind of vibe. But beyond that, it's mostly talking this time, and that's cool.
Yeah, indeed.
It has the old rock scene with the, I don't know what I want to call it, the thing. I'm going to call it El Man Coyote because I like that name more than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, Olrox's scene with Oman Coyote and Olrox's scene with Mizrak are two of the stand-up moments of this episode.
Indeed.
Season 2, Episode 5, Into the Abyss. You've got any thoughts on this you want to share with us? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.